Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast.
Welcome to the Sparky Coach Pod. It's Cam here with Crowe. Hope all things are wonderful and beautiful wherever you're listening, whatever you're up to, whatever you're doing. We'll have a chat today around, I guess, I want to say non-negotiable things within business life and business per se. And what this looks at, I guess, is around what are the things you got to do every day, every week to make sure that everything's humming. And let's reference to have a look at what are the things that you are currently doing, and are they the most important things to be doing, and are they the non-negotiable items to be doing? I'm going to throw it straight to you, Crowe, because I want to hear your thoughts around, I guess, the importance of getting the non-negotiables done every day, every week, every month. You can insert the time frame here. I just want to hear what the importance are of getting the non-negotiables done.
Oh, far out. This is really interesting to talk about. And one thing I've been on a mission lately, and anyone who's a part of our platform have been listening for some time, will, I think for me, I've been on a massive journey, like 13 years in the running my own business, 4-year apprenticeship before that, coming up to 5 years in the coaching space and land, which is not a dirty word, although it kind of feels a bit dirty at some points. But like coming into that land and finally realizing like exactly what we need to be doing, I guess, on that pathway of like just doing a lot of reading and stuff and just realizing everything should be as simple as possible, but not simpler. And that was a big moment for me. That was in the Diary of a CEO book. And you can't underestimate the value of reading and inputting into your personal self and your soul and your spirit, whether that's through surfing or jumping on a trampoline or putting your phone down, for parts of the day, or boxing out your social media into parts of the day, just whatever, but look after yourself. But because that's where the moments happen. The amount of people you talk to that I had this epiphany, I had this moment, I had this realization, I had this, the trade gods spoke to me, the electrical gods came down with a tablet and showed me exactly what I needed to be done. Usually that's to do in a slow time. Usually that's in a time where there's reflection, there's headspace, it's a holiday, it's a weekend away, it's a night away, it's a weekend, like it's just some kind of moment in time where you've got headspace. And so I think that's a big thing. The headspace is big. And if you don't have any of that in your week, exercising, huge, like huge. Everyone will know me. How do you know someone goes to Pilates? Don't worry, they'll tell you, right? So, this is so funny. My almost 8-year-old Phoenix, he was cracking up laughing the other day because he was like, do you do weights? And I'm like, yeah, I do weights. Like they're 2 kilos, but I do them at Pilates. And I was referencing one of our
Did you know I go to Pilates?
Yeah. Where do you think I go every morning, right? And haven't you seen me shirtless? And then I was laughing with him about one of our members who does like, I don't even know the right terminology, like 160 bench press, or he's lifting 160 kilos to some extent, whatever that is. And he was like, wait, you do 2s and he's doing 160. And I'm like, yeah, but have you seen the angle of the 2s? Have you seen the angle and proximity of the 2s? And it was just funny to reference like exercising is so incredibly important for you. Don't compare yourself with anyone else, but like look after yourself. Anyway, headspace, exercise, time, whatever. I've been on a mission to simplify the platform, which I feel like we've done, and I cannot speak highly enough of our platform at the moment. I think it's nailing the non-negotiables. I think you could speak to anyone in it and it's awesome, but it's only in simplifying it that I've realized how much there is to running a simple business. You don't need the fancy sessions or the noise. You don't need any noise. There's too much noise already. You need to double down on what's focused, and you have to differentiate between noise, noble, and non-negotiable. I feel like noise is just like, I remember being part of the other coaching program, Who Shall Remain Nameless, and it was like good sessions, great topics, noise. You know what I mean? Like we're going to do this and this and this and this. And it sounded all good and it sounded incredibly noisy or noble, but it was a distraction from the non-negotiable. So I feel like if you're in that noise or noble situation, the noble stuff has to be done. Noble stuff is like a rough-in checklist, fit-off checklist, something that's going to make the job smoother, better, faster, stronger, insert Daft Punk lyric here. But it's not a non-negotiable that has to happen every single week. You will survive without a job management system. You know what I mean? You will survive without listening to 30 podcasts a week. There's certain things you will survive on. You won't survive if you're misquoting jobs. You won't survive if your product sucks. You won't survive if you keep telling someone you'll be there at 7 a.m. and you're not there at 7 a.m. You're somewhere else. I was saying the other day, this is so funny, right? I remember being on, I was at, we're doing this deck work at this big house in, what was it? It's Caringbah South, but it's almost whatever that is, Dolan's Bay or something. And then, so in the Shire, a really nice house, beautiful west facing over the river. And I'm turning up for like a big day on the deck, right? I think I had maybe 5 to 8 staff at this point. And turn up big day on the deck, got staff with me. I get a phone call from this guy going like, what coffee do you want? And I'm like, Sean, how are you? What do you mean? And he's like, oh, I'm here. I've come early so you can upgrade the switchboard. And I'm like, gah, fully forgot. Like, great client, great person, ran this commercial place in the city that was insane. Like, they gave us so much work, not just their work, but ongoing work. So I'd let an amazing client down because I was disorganized, you know? So then you go, okay, maybe Noble is job management system or admin in there or whatever, but non-negotiable, like you won't survive if you don't send invoices. You won't survive if you're not checking your net profit and gross profit on those invoices. Like, there's certain things you will be okay with. There's certain things that you'll be okay with not doing. There's certain things that would be nice to do, but there's other things that are completely critical to the lifeblood of the business. And that is what you determine as the non-negotiable. So in our sort of close the week workbook, and I get so many messages from people going like, what's close the week? I'm hearing so much about it. It's like, if you only did that, you'd be cooking. Like, if you only did the non-negotiables every single week, because don't forget, most people suck at their job. Most people are like me, somewhere between the deck work and a commercial board upgrade. Like, stuck halfway between, like, Stretch Armstrong, kind of doing admin at night, kind of not. Kind of working Saturdays, kind of not. Kind of profitable, but not sure until the end of the year. Kind of hiring, but like not really managing. Like, it's got kind of doing lots of stuff, but not excelling at everything. And if you just double down and you're like, the most non-negotiable thing you do completely standalone, one sentence, is you want to buy labor and materials and you want to sell at a profit margin. That's it. If you're not doing that, something is inherently broken. Everything can point towards that, basically. Everything in your business can point towards, like, what are you buying labor and materials for, and what are you selling it for, and how much is the difference? And then in the difference, you come back to the non-negotiables, stem down from that, right? So weekly invoices, double checking the workload for labor efficiency. You're looking at, do I need to hire? You're looking at, is the admin up to date? You're looking at, is the schedule tight? You're looking at checking your quotes. You're looking at building a price book. You're all like, everything, all roads lead back to that. So my big thing is, if you're not checking that and you don't know that, you have a massive problem. Houston, we have a problem? No. Your business, we have a problem. Like, massive problem. It's not okay. It's not okay. Like, no one in their right mind. One of my really close mates having a beer the other night at Bangalow pub, which actually sucks. I must say, the pub is disappointing, right? We were, you know, it's going to get renovated, but we're there with only 2 people. The sound's sketchy. We watched the game, some footy game, which was good. Who played on Saturday night? Game.
The Broncos and Dolphins.
No.
Bunnies and Eels.
Yes, Bunnies Eels. Kind of good game, right?
Yeah.
Pub sucked. Anyway, had a couple of beers together, and he runs a highly successful clothing brand, which you would know about, and then you probably got their shirt, right? And we're talking about this exact situation, noble and non-negotiable. And I would say to everyone, get some good friends around you. You can have some good conversations with. And you can build each other up. If you're consistently cutting other people down in your friendship conversations, that's not okay. But if you're talking about how do we get better, what do we do with this, and he's come up with some amazing ideas for our business, which I will be implementing, which we will go through tomorrow at our big dog meeting. But like, it was a great time, and I was talking about how insane it is. Like, he's in the t-shirt game, and I'm like, can you imagine, or not like clothing game, but let's say t-shirts. Can you imagine buying t-shirts for $40 and selling them for 35? Like, but thinking you had this cool revenue. Like, psycho. It's actually psycho. Like, it's serial killer-esque, not okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's not okay. So I just reckon, in the simplicity and the noise, try and differentiate. You got to cut through the noise and be like, everything comes down from the top of the pyramid scheme, which is Amway, a Tupperware party.
My card.
Yeah, which is actually, you can click on the link below and buy our Thermomix, right? No, if you know, that's actually really funny. But like, we are selling Tupperware on the side. No, top of the pyramid scheme is not Amway. It's not Tupperware. It's not a Thermomix. It's not some cool something else, robot vacuum cleaner. It is actually like, are you profitable or not? And sometimes you might be quoting profitably, but handling incorrectly. So I think you just got to know this stuff, and you got to stop and slow down. And shout out to I don't love naming people on the platform, like when it's sort of personal information. I will name if it's not personal, but like, talking to a bunch of people last week about our workbook, and like new members and members have been in for a little bit, and they're like, holy crap, this is so amazing. I know exactly where I stand. I know exactly what needs to happen. I know exactly the pathway. I know exactly the screw to tighten up. I know exactly the cable pathway. That's a metaphor, right? I'm talking like in the numbers sense. But one of them was like, this takes me 4 hours a week. I block out from 12 till 4. And this is a company of like 15. He's like, there's no better time for me to spend on this. Shows me absolutely everything. So I think someone starting out, it would take an hour a week. Someone in the big dog position, 4 hours maybe. But like, there's no better way to be spending your time than on the non-negotiables. It's like, it's comparing surviving to thriving. And if you can't get that time, it's an inherent hiring indicator. That's all it is. It's all. If you can't find the time to do the non-negotiables, it's either you're too busy and need to hire, or you're too distracted, or you're too disorganized, or something's actually wrong. Like, you need to diagnose that thing. What is that? Is it fear of failure? Is it fear of success? Is it a hiring indicator? Is it like insert issue here at some point? Like, how come you think that's okay? Because it's not okay. So I just feel like, the more people that are up and about and getting to know their numbers back to front, and are measuring every single week, closing every single week, and closing every single month, and checking gross profit, net profit, and working out their operations and administration, and starting at the top of the pyramid scheme and working their way down. But yeah, I've got so much to say on this, because it's like, what do you need and what don't you need? One of our members is running off a $20 overhead, and this is me approved. I don't approve many $20 overheads. I'll just be like, no, I get stuff. That's wrong.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I've sat with this guy for 6 months now. We've worked out, no, actually, I'll accept that. Actually, to be honest, it's a bit less than that. It's just the style and nature of the work that they do. I've also approved $70 overheads. It just depends on the style of work you do. This is why you can't compare revenue. $2.5 to you might not be $2.5 to me. 10 grand to you might not be 10 grand to me. If you're talking revenue, you are so cooked. You are so unbelievably, it's the most cooked metric. Like, what happens if one of our members punches at 100 grand months, right? Revenue talking. And he just punched through a 200 grand month. Do we go to Bali, or go to Fiji, or go to the Mediterranean coast? No, because he bought 100 grand extra materials that month. So it's like a standard month. It just looks better on paper. It doesn't look better gross or net. It just looks better revenue wise. So it's just be really, really careful. But anyway, this guy runs a really, really tight ship on a $20 an hour overhead. And it's like, he doesn't need, hear this, he doesn't actually need a job management system. The style and operations that he carries, don't hear what I'm not saying to you, Eric, but most people do. 90% of people do. 95% of people do. This guy, actually, he's operating just fine. We just had to tighten some screws, find some money, work out some stuff, and it's fantastic. But it's like, he knows what he has to do. His business is a certain style and structure. So don't settle for generic advice that just gives you, that labels like the middle 20%. You need actually bespoke business advice from people that have sold labor and materials before. So you know what's non-negotiable and what's not non-negotiable. Otherwise, you get caught with a whole bunch of subscriptions you don't need. You get caught with a whole bunch of noise you don't need. You get caught with a whole bunch of like good to noble conversations. You get stuck around people that are having, oh, that sounds really good, and that person got this switchpod upgrade for 14 grand. Yeah, but they lost the client. You know, they got the job, lost the client. They got the job, lost the reputation. They got the job, lost the community. They got the job, lost the staff member. They got the job, lost money, insert whatever it is here. So sometimes you can win work, but you can lose the thing that you actually care about. And whether that's you pricing too high and you win that one, and that the old lady's at a barbecue and she tells the son-in-law, and the son-in-law's like, that doesn't sound right. Like, let me have a look into that. You can land yourself in some hot water pretty quickly, right? Really, really, really quickly. So, you know, I'm not saying you can't make money, but I'm saying there's a market range to make money, and you need to know your market range. And if you're too high for too long, you can expect to lose some work and lose some clients and lose some potential reputation. If you're too low for too long, you can probably expect to go bankrupt. That's the seriousness of the situation we're dealing with. Like, this is literally not a game. This is real life. If your prices are too low for too long, you can expect problems, huge implications here, personal bankruptcy. Like you can expect some insane negative ramifications for that. So anyway, that's my is that like a 15-minute rant on noble non-negotiable? But I feel like it's warranted, because I think if everyone just did the non-negotiables, you would be okay.
You're very passionate. We're passionate there, Crow, which I'm fully aware of because we talk about it probably every day, maybe
Most
every
days.
four hours potentially. If a little text message pings through, or a little bird sends me. No, so I think we can understand that from Crowley's passion and thought process around the non-negotiables is how important they are. I think it's really key to identify what yours are and where they sit. And if you're not sure where they are, let's reference what Crowley just touched on there. That, you know, we're in the game of selling materials and labor. So let's just start there. That's first and foremost, is that we're selling material and labor, and we need to make sure that we're selling it at a profit, right? So that's first and foremost. Secondly is, cool, what we're selling, are we actually enabling ourselves to receive the money to get paid for our material and labor? And what that insert invoicing here, are you invoicing? Now, I'm going to say everyone who's been there, every person I've ever met in any walk of life, in any industry, when they send that invoice 6 to 8 weeks after the work has been done, there's always going to be a drama, right? Or potential drama. Or if you're sending a cost plus invoice, 4 to 6 weeks or monthly or every third blue moon, as opposed to sending it every week, you're just leaving yourself open for, I guess, you're exposing yourself to be picked apart, and basically it becomes a conceding game of like, yeah, okay, sweet, I'll knock that off. Yeah, I'll knock that. Full well knowing that it is 100% correct. Like, you know, I'm going to say 95% of people are honest and sort of, you know, ethical people. But the reality is that you're asking for something that happened 8 weeks ago, for example. Wouldn't the just polite thing to do, right? And I've learned this the hard way, and it's usually because you're busy, right? Insert busy here. It's because you haven't basically sought approval to be like, oh, hey, just let you know, we did 60 hours last week and spent $5,000 on materials. These are the items here, and these are the days we worked, and these are the hours, etc. This is who was there. Cool, ticked off, approved. Like, most people can't remember what they did yesterday. If we're being, you know, pretty honest around things, how can you expect someone to walk back 8 weeks? Not only that, if it is okay, right? So say let's go next best scenario, that it's all okay. The amount of time it's going to take up to dig up logbooks or dig out invoices and stuff like that. Because I just want to have a meeting because I just need to get my head around this, insert client here. So you're doing yourself a disservice by not being on top of it. Like, you don't go to McDonald's and grab the food and pay in 4 to 6 weeks' time. Like, you pay immediately. Like, it should be an expectation that you put this through in a reasonable time frame. Now, I fully understand, depending on what agreements and stuff you have with that, with the type of client. So if the client requires the invoice at the 21st of every month, it needs to be sent on the 21st of every month. Like, if you can send it on the 20th, send it on the 20th. Like, I don't think there's any excuse in history that is acceptable that the clients be like, they're like, we need it on this day so we can pay you. Like it was like, oh, I was busy. Like, what were you busy doing on the 21st that was so important not to put a $60,000 progress claim through, or $30,000, or insert value here? It sort of just blows my mind. So we're in that game. And then the next one is like, I've got no work. Okay, cool. When's the last time you sent a quote? Well, it was maybe 3 to 6 months ago. It's like, well, like you're doing a disservice to yourself. So I think first and foremost, have a look at like what you're doing. Like, why are you busy? Like, insert busy here. What are you busy doing? We're all busy. And I think we can reference this as a society as a whole, is that everyone you speak to feels like they're under the pump all the time. Why is that? Are you under the pump because you're doing things that are noble potentially? Are you under the pump because you're distracted by social media, or you are starting at 9 o'clock and finishing at 1 o'clock? Like, insert issue here, that why are you feeling like this busyness and productivity? And I think going back to like where Chloe started at the beginning, there's a lot of noise out there. So just wipe out a lot of the noise and get back to the basics around it. Like, what are the most simple things that need to be done? You know, it's what do you to charge? How many billable hours do we have a week? When do I send my invoices? Block out that time. When do I send my quotes? Like, I get the argument of like, oh, I need a quote every single day. If it's not practical for you to quote every single day, just communicate that. You know, go to your client, hey, look, no problems at all. I'm going to get this quote back to you by Monday next week. Is that going to be okay? Right? No, it's not going to be okay. I need it by Friday. Sweet. We're all on the same page, says the 1 out of 10 clients. The other person is like, the other 9 clients are like, yeah, no problems at all. We can get it back to us on Monday. That's fine. So a lot of times we create our own busyness by not communicating. Where's our workload at? We're hectic. Sorry, Croy.
No, it's all about being disorganized. One of our members, who shall remain nameless, lost a board upgrade that he went to. Good rapport with the client, shook hands, broke bread, patted the dog, showed some photos of what's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, whoops.
Didn't send the quote. Swear to God, didn't send the quote. And she was chasing him.
Yes.
And I know he's listening. So she was chasing him, and he was like, and then he ended up calling her, I'll get the quote out this afternoon. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Someone else came round. We didn't hear from you. And they're doing the job tomorrow. So I was like, 2 things. Get the quote out. You could have got the quote out on site. Get it out. Forget about it. Like, don't even, sometimes going to your car, going to a cafe and spending 15 minutes with a coffee, getting the quote out. If you went home and did the quote on Friday, that's going to take you an hour and a half. You might miss some details that you think you wrote down, but you didn't write down. Oh, I should get any ducting at that point. Or, oh, I forgot about the water bond or the earth stake. Or, oh, I forgot that box had to move for this thing or whatever. So interesting, because it was like, you just lost that client, but you also lost that network. So when you grow the business, what do you need? You need more work. But if you're losing jobs and you're losing everyone that person knows because you didn't get a quote back on time that you already knew the answer to, right? That's not good enough. And this is interesting because it's like, you want to be the other person. If you get a shot with someone, get the quote out, bang, bang, be really good to deal with. On this, I will highlight, you think excellence is doing what you do well on site, and it is, of course it is, but it's also getting quotes back on time, turning up to a quote when you say you're going to turn up to, following up a quote. It's also all these other things. People, swear to God, like, people just, everyone on the whole in planet Earth is expecting the board to be completed to current standards and to work when they employ you. They don't care about your switchboard sticker or that you like sickered some hole inside it or not. They're just expecting it to be compliant, right? So your work isn't that much better than other people's work, you know, like, unless you're in that hectic, high-end residential, industrial, and it's like, I get it. There's an elite level of people, not people, but there's elite level of work workmanship that goes into that. That's cool. But generally speaking, your standard residential punters, it's the same stuff. So what's going to differentiate you? Relationships going to differentiate you, and communication and getting things back on time and invoicing weekly, and like actually doing what you say you're going to do. That stuff's going to differentiate you. No one cares if your switchboard, they're expecting the board to be level. You know what I mean? And like that's it. So anyway, it's my rant. Get your stuff out on time.
Because I think the bare expectation is the product's going to be solid. But I think that if there's a PowerPoint on the wall, like whether it's an iconic weatherproof one or a Hagar weatherproof one or insert weatherproof here, like they're not really going to care about it. Like the expectation is that when they go to plug in their blower to clean the backyard out on a Saturday afternoon, that the blower turns on. That's the expectation. So a lot of it here is the non-negotiables are a lot of the other things. So I think maybe here you could almost reference, am I putting too much emphasis on the areas that are not required to have as much emphasis on there? So quoting's huge. Understanding, workload. Hey, have I got enough work next week? And realizing it a week or two in advance, not the day of. So I want to sort of finish here on understanding and looking back and sit down. So stop, slow down, right? It's okay to push back that meeting if you need to. It's okay to make the phone call and be like, hey, I'm going to be there at 1 o'clock today. I know I said I might have been there at 12 and I was confirming with you. Stop. What am I doing? Why am I feeling like this? Is there things that I can change? What are the most important things every week for me to get the best results that I'm looking for? I think you need to identify that and simplify what you're doing and get really, really good at doing the same thing every single week. And if you have the ability to lock in certain items or certain tasks on the same time frame or same day or same block of chunk of time, that's going to help you get your week in order and schedule. It's like, hey, I know I'm going to do this. I know I'm going to do it this time. So I want everyone to have a sit back, have a look back and be like, right, what am I doing really well? What am I not doing so well now? What are the most important things for me to achieve success?
100%. And just simplifying the mission, that's it. So wherever you are, simplify whatever you're doing, just like dilute it a little bit more. just like simplify everything. So exciting times. Get after it. Good luck to yourself and reach out if you need anything. Peace.
Enjoy.
That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules. Be kind. See you soon.